entire nation waits. North, South, Union, Confederate, blue, gray, it doesn't matter. Mothers worry, children envision scenes of glory, and sweethearts nervously pace the floor. Each knows the lives of their loved ones and the outcome of the entire war will be determined in the fields of southern Pennsylvania. And so they hold their breath and wait. "100 miles away, in the nation's capital, a solitary man kneels to pray. News is scarce and the world around him seems panic-stricken. So he goes to his room, locks the door, and he prays. With firm resolve, he places the boys on the battlefield into the hands of his almighty God. And in the quiet, his soul is comforted and his mind is at peace. He receives his answer. The Union victory signals the turning point of the war, the high watermark of the Confederate advance." It's not the only time President Abraham Lincoln is known to pray. 9 times during his 4 years as president, Lincoln calls for a national day of prayer. In countless letters of thanks and encouragement to friends, widows, and grieving mothers, Lincoln earnestly shares that he is lifting their needs to the throne room of the Almighty. In the end, Lincoln's power as president came not from any political party or financial backing. It came from his determination to fight for his country on his knees. Abraham Lincoln wasn't the first national leader to live a life of prayer. The Bible tells us of the significance prayer had in the life of Joshua. From the very beginning, during his time as an aide to Moses, prayer set Joshua apart from the rest of Israel. When Moses climbed Mount Sinai to receive the commandments from God, and the Israelites in the camp forged the golden calf, Joshua remained on the mountainside praying. When Moses entered the tabernacle to speak with God, Joshua also went to the tabernacle to pray, often remaining there in worship when Moses was done. Before he became a public figure of leadership, Joshua lived a private life of prayer. When Moses died and Joshua assumed responsibility for Israel, he continued a life of humble prayer. Through his personal relationship with God, Joshua was directed and empowered to lead the nation of Israel, to conquer enemy nations and kings, and even on one occasion, to command the sun and the moon to stand still. The strength of men alone does not accomplish the purposes that God has in mind for his people. It is only when we humble ourselves before him in confession, supplication, worship, and thanksgiving that he moves in us and through us to accomplish his will. Jesus tells us, when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. The public successes of Lincoln and Joshua came not from their might, but from their private humility before Almighty God. They found victory when they fought on their knees, and so too should we.